This is the Alabama Orthopedic Clinic D1 Training High School Football Preview Show.
High school football week 11, the final week, our final week of broadcasting here on UTV 44 as Jim Cox, Dan Brennan get ready for the matchup here tonight. And you know, we've been eyeing this one for quite a while. Spanish Fort traveling to Saraland, the Region 1 championship on the line, Region 1 6A championship on the line. That'll get decided tonight. We're going to talk more about that. Ben Blackman is here, and Coach Jeff Kelly is here from Saraland as well. We'll talk all about that. But I just want to go back a little bit last week. I mean, that game we saw at St. Paul's. St. Paul's clinching their playoff berth, going up against Daphne, who was looking to keep their playoff drive alive, and now they have a chance to get in tonight if they beat Blunt. But what a game. I mean, that's the best game we've seen this year, and great win for St. Paul's, and you just really felt bad for those Daphne kids having yet another really close loss.
It was a great game. We thought it would be a very competitive game, but it was like a YouTube video when they say, you won't believe how surprised they are when they open up this package. And for you and I, and maybe even some of the people watching on TV, some of the fans at the stadium themselves, might not have been ready for that much offense.
Yeah.
And in fact, we had so much offense in that game, 28-24 St. Paul's, as Jim mentioned. There was a touchdown that would have actually given the game back to Daphne, 90 yards or so.
Yep.
They got called back. So great game, thrilling game. Might have another one tonight.
Yeah, it was just a wonderful game. And again, so Daphne, they beat Blunt tonight. They can get into the playoffs if Blunt wins that game. Then they get the last spot, number 4 in that region. And of course, St. Paul's, they have clinched their playoff spot. They'll be number 3 in that region. They'll take on Opelika in the first round. Rich Myers is here with us, and if you don't think he doesn't look like a doctor, well, he's not. He's a quarterback doctor, is what he's here with QB Country. As you know, we're getting ready to wrap up the high school football season here. Middle school football, those things wrapping up, but like y'all don't take much of a break. Fall and winter action going on right here at QB Country, right?
Absolutely. Here at D1 and QB Country, one of the things we look at is with youth football and middle school football wrapping up, we've got to get the guys in, get their training cycles going. You know, at that age, it's imperative to get at least 3 to 4 training cycles in at a time. And, you know, we're trying to have them prepped for high school before they ever even get there. So, yeah, we're about to be working really, really hard.
And how long during the year do you work the kids of that age group?
We pretty much go year round. I mean, even some of the skill guys, we still work on mobility, shoulder care, movement. So it's nonstop. It's year round. And
it's imperative at that age. I mean, I'm just guessing, you know, that's where good habits are developed from mechanics and all those
Absolutely.
type of things.
You have a window of opportunity between that middle school and 9th grade year to really form all the movement patterns and really get them where they need to be for that sophomore, junior year.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy the enthusiasm of the young athlete? I know it's a little bit different. And how young are some of the kids that come here to D1?
We usually try to start them no younger than usually
pre-K?
8.
Pre-K?
No.
Somewhere in there?
No.
The kid who can throw the little block?
Yeah, it's 8 years old.
Okay.
Usually is where we, start them. But a big chunk of the emphasis is on that 6th, 7th, and 8th grade year, having them ready for high school when we hand them over.
And you know, sometimes you can see, it's got to be really enjoyable for you to sometimes see a young man at that age and even just know, just looking at him like, ooh, he really could be something special.
Yeah, for sure. You know, sitting there on Saturday watching, college football, and you go, hey, there's one of our guys, there's one of our guys. It's pretty awesome.
But also there's got to be another part of it that you have parents and kids who just want to help their son who's a quarterback just be the best quarterback he can be for, and maybe that's just playing 2 years of high school football, but just for him to be the best quarterback that he's capable of being, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, really, whether it's a quarterback, receiver, or any kind of skill player, I mean, the work is nonstop, and just trying to give them every advantage we can before that next season rolls around.
You know, all you have to do is watch Saturdays, the SEC, and watch the NFL, really. It's unbelievable how many kids from this area have been groomed by the right people in the right way to become productive players all over the field.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's a healthy training environment. That's the other thing. Like, you hear some things, maybe some other sports, it's like, I don't know if I want my kid involved. Like, this is just a healthy, happy environment for the kids. It's a different model that y'all follow.
And because the emphasis is so heavy on football in this area, I mean, our 7th through 9th grade groups, they'll be full before January 1st.
Wow.
I mean, those classes will be packed out. So if you want to get in, now's the time.
Best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, just call D1 Mobile and, make an appointment to bring your athlete in and get them evaluated.
No, it's a great facility. We love being here. Thanks for all you do, because you make those kids better that we get to watch on Friday nights. We're going to take a timeout as we get ready for our region championship showdown tonight. The Spanish Fort Toros on the road taking on the Saraland Spartans. I got them both right this week.
You got it.
Tonight here on UTV 44, we'll come back and we'll talk with Ben Blackman, head coach of the Toros, coming up right after this. For our last broadcast of the year here on UTV 44, Spanish Fort at Saraland, region championship on the line. And, Dan, coaches talk about you can't look ahead, you can't look forward, and you got to take what's, we've been looking at this, we can, because, we're just knucklehead broadcasters. I mean, we've been looking at this all the way down saying, I bet we're in Saraland for week 11.
Yeah, we have, and it's all turned out, and nothing was a given, though, because in this region, week in, week out, you better bring your game, and nothing's easy when you don't have your running back for a lot of the season, too. So
Connor Hagan,
Connor Hagan is back.
He's with us, came back last week, got hurt during the spring training session, but he's back. We'll talk with him in a second. And Coach, it's just, you got to feel, and we'll say the same thing to Jeff Kelly, you got to feel great being in this position with this game, ready to play for the region championship tonight.
Yeah, I'm really proud of our kids and overcoming the adversity they've come through this season and fighting and taking it one game at a time and finding a way to win it. And I think we've played a pretty good schedule. Going into this last game and region championship. I know, Coach Kelly does a good job over there. I mean, he's one of the best in the state, and got a lot of respect for what he does at Saraland. His kids play really hard, and it should be fun. It should be really fun.
Man, just when somebody looks at your record as you come into the game, you're the only loss against 7A, McGill, 8-1, undefeated the region. I mean, do you think some people, maybe not around, maybe just more of a casual fan, look at what's you're doing this year, what you've done every year, and maybe lose sight a little bit of how much hard work it takes to accomplish that year in and year out? Because it's not just showing up and winning every Friday night.
No. I think it's what you do, from the time the season ends till it begins. I think all of that is culmination of the 10 weeks you get to play in the regular season. And, I think our kids do a really good job of working hard. They come in, they compete every day in the off season. We make it a competition, and go into spring and the summer, and we do a lot of work in the summer. They put in an extraordinary amount of time and effort into their summer preparation, getting into the season.
I can tell you, I've been at Spanish Fort practices. There's no ice cream truck break, for sure. And I know that he's happy to have this guy back.
Yeah, so Connor Hagan, of course, if you watch high school football, you've seen him last year. We're just talking about a big run he had against Daphne. So let's go back to May. Tear your ACL. Tell us about just how the rehab process was and the drive to get yourself back ready to be playing. Came back last week and now playing in tonight's big game in the playoffs beyond.
I mean, it was rough. It was difficult to get back, but I mean, I knew that I wanted to make it back in time to play good, at least as much as I could of this season, and especially for this game.
When you're doing that, do you just have to have little incremental goals that you can kind of check off to feel that you're making progress?
Yeah, I mean, the first week started off trying to just get out of bed, being able to stand on it, and then next week goes being able to walk on it, then being able to get off crutches, then get out of the brace. I mean, each week, a different goal, and step by step, and get there eventually to we're back to full speed.
Talk about what it means to have him back in the just on the field, in the locker room, everything.
Well, when you lose Connor off the field, you not only lose a great player, but you lose a leader, someone who's smart, who knows our offense. He's been in our offense since he was a freshman, played in big games. So you lose that aspect. And, coming into this season and having to replace so many different pieces in our skill set offensively, it was a huge blow to lose him. And but I'll tell you what, that nobody has worked so hard to get back like he has. They say most ACLs are 6 to 9 months. He's back 5 months, 1 week, and he's stronger in his legs than he was before. And that's just a testament to his character and his hard work, dedication. I mean, I look
what
up.
football means to him, right?
Well, exactly. I look up, and we're going into, I think, the 3rd week of the season, getting ready to play Moss Point, and I look on the track, and he is full speed, running. And I'm like, here it is, September. He had surgery in May, and he's squatting, and he's getting back, and, just really proud of him and what he's done and just the determination he's shown.
And you got to be excited to get back, help your team be out there, and now coming back and just talk about what this game means here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot. I mean, obviously playing for a region championship, big game, big rivalry. I mean, every year it's fun to play against them, and it should be a lot of fun again this year. Yeah. So.
And I'll be parked at the Walmart back by the Pine Straw. That's where I go, and sometimes I lose my way in the woods on the way back, and it's
trail of breadcrumbs.
It's very frightening.
Hey, so is there so as the playoffs get here, so you're going to be a 1 or a 2 seed, and there's one train of thought, hey, this is like a playoff game, but also it's you got to be able to, whatever happens in this game, then kind of quickly flip the switch to get to the playoffs, right?
Yeah, well, I think playing in this region, period. Region 1, there's so many games week in and week out that prepare you for the playoffs. I mean, there are 5 or 6 teams in this region that if you don't go and prepare for them, then they'll beat you. I mean, this is good football down here, and especially in 6A Region 1. And so you've got to prepare every day and every week, take it one by one. And because, I mean, or you'll slip. And so I think, this is another one, that, what they've done on the field this year is phenomenal. Saraland, they're just, you turn on film and you watch them and you're like, wow.
I'll tell you what Ben is preparing for. He's preparing to not have a quiet bus ride home. Worst feeling in the world is a quiet bus ride home. Well, you want a joyous bus ride.
Well, the good thing is Jeff Kelly's one of my good friends, and we talk quite a bit during the season. After it's over, I mean, we're both going to get in a car and go Saturday morning to the playoffs and compete another week, and that's the blessing that we have this week.
Yeah, and there's nothing saying that they couldn't meet again somewhere down the road. We would love that. All right, Coach, we'll see you in a second. Great to see you. So glad you're back. We can't wait to see you on the field tonight. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we're going to hear Saraland's side of things as we get to see the Spartans again. They're home tonight, playing host to the Toros for the 6A Region 1 Championship right here on UTV 44. About 15 minutes away from kick 44, and we are so looking forward to this one. Spanish Fort on the road at Saraland, Region Championship on the line. Cordell Flott here with us, DB going to LSU. We got head coach Jeff Kelly of the Saraland Spartans as we get ready for this one. And kind of like I said to Coach Blackman a minute ago, I mean, you got to feel great about where you are heading into the final week of the season, right?
When the schedule come out, one of the first things you look at is when are we going to meet those guys? And when they come out at the end of the season, you could say if you take care of business, that could be a fun one if it meant a lot at the end and a lot was on the line. And so both teams have done really good. They've had great years. I'm proud of our kids. I know Coach Blackman is fired up about what they've been able to get done. And so I guess what it's all about, settling on the field. And, two teams are going to go at it here in a few minutes, and should be fun to watch.
One thing I think that we don't want to overlook is just what the atmosphere will be like, what it means, a huge gate, what it means for a program. When you have huge attendance, it's a great night all the way around, and it's one of those games that really could be one that the kids will look on and talk about the rest of their lives for just from what the atmosphere is going to be like.
It's going to be crazy. It's two proud programs with outstanding fan bases who really believe in what their kids are doing and what their schools are doing and what their communities are doing. So, hey, it's what high school is, the best of what high school football is, and so we'll see how it shakes out.
Before we get to Cordell, just to say, I don't think that Jim and I have seen a better performance by a team on a single night. Now, again, in this Region 6A, 1, it's crazy every week. Yep. But on that night at St. Paul's, we had a chance to do that game with you guys on the road at St. Paul's. Could you guys play any better than that evening?
We had some things bounce our way. Our kids played extremely hard, and when we had opportunities, our kids capitalized on those. We got an outstanding group of guys, led by our seniors. When you look at our roster, both sides of the ball, you've got guys that's been in the fire a long time, guys that are tremendous examples of what it means to work hard, what it means to compete. They love to practice, they love to prepare, and on Friday nights they like to flip the switch and go to battle. So it's a credit to those guys, and it's been a fun year to coach those guys. I'm excited about tonight and then what happens after tonight as well.
You told us last time before that game on this show, you just talked about the leadership and the character of this team, and Dan and I noticed it on the field.
Oh, yeah.
Your kids, before the game, it wasn't an arrogance, it wasn't a cockiness, but it was just a confidence that they had on the field, and I gotta think y'all have had that feeling all year and really kind of have thought since the beginning of the year that this could be really something special for Saraland.
Right. Talk about that, Cordell, and being a senior and what your role is as part of that group, that engine that makes this team what it is.
Most importantly, having the attitude to be able to push your brothers throughout practice and continue to look forward to be 1-0 throughout the week. And we overly prepared, watching film and doing other things as a team, as a group, continue to have a mind to look forward and be ready for Friday night.
Is this a close team, the guys themselves? I know undefeated helps that, but just personalities and everybody getting along and actually caring for each other.
Yes, sir. We have great relationships throughout the team, so that's how we.
So committed to go to LSU. Talk about we always like to ask this, did you enjoy the recruiting process and enjoy everything that goes with it?
Yeah, it's just a blessing to have this many opportunities and great universities to choose from. And I like to look forward and commit and put this behind me and be the best athlete I can be for Saraland High School.
You just, I think we maybe talked about this before, and sometimes you have a group of kids that come along, and sometimes you may have just kind of have a lot of great athletes, but sometimes you just have that special group of young men and the togetherness Dan talked about and the leadership that just, it all comes together like a big pot of gumbo and just works out perfectly, right?
Maybe a pot of gold.
You make it sound so easy.
But when you have that attitude, it makes a lot of other things easy,
it does, and we've got outstanding football players, but we've got outstanding young men that want to be good, and they want to prepare. They want to do all the little things, the extra stuff. And I know a lot of people are doing those things, but there's just been a certain commitment, a certain confidence, like you say, just the way that they go about their work. Not necessarily on Fridays, but Mondays, on Tuesdays, on Wednesdays, the way they come ready to learn, ready to prepare. I'm not surprised by what they've shown on Friday nights. But, hey, this is the time of the year. What you've done in the past really doesn't matter. It's all about going 1-0, and hey, that's what tonight's all about, and especially going forward into next week.
And Jim, just to jump in there, I think it's really interesting to talk to Cordell, football player, a senior, just a high school kid, and he talked about practice. Most kids, it's kind of like you practice the game. You understand the importance of that.
Yes, sir. It's very important to us because preparing for the game is the biggest thing, not looking ahead throughout the week before the game comes, and
that's something.
And it just sets that culture for the younger kids coming up as well. I mentioned this to Ben, and you would know. So you had a lot of players returning this year. Ben graduated a lot of players. And I think people could look up and say, oh, well, there's Spanish Fort. They're 8-1. They just keep doing what they do. And it's sometimes when you have success, I'm not sure everybody always realizes how hard it is to be undefeated in the region coming into week 10, what it takes to win each week. I think it just, that gets lost a little bit.
And Ben touched on it, I know, it is so hard week to week. Every week is a challenge. Every week there's different things that keep you up late at night, that stress you out, and you want to prepare, but, if you can stay in one piece, come playoff time and go through Region 1 and come out the other side and have a chance at the tournament, you'll have a chance to play a while.
Yeah, they've dealt with that injuries over there, but nobody's feeling sorry for the Toros at this point either, right? You're not feeling sorry for them, right? No, none of that. All right, Cordell, we'll see you out on the field. Stick around, Coach. We got one last Brent in, Brent out for the season. Come back, Ben Blackman will be here. We get ready for kickoff tonight. Big one here on UTV 44. Andy Citron, injury attorneys, Friday night rivals. As you know, we can't do the games live on the playoff slide on TV, so this is our last broadcast tonight. But
we're working on that.
That'll be a good one here tonight. Kickoff comes up in just a few minutes, but we wrap things up with both coaches right after this. We've been waiting all week for this one to get here. It's the Region 1 championship game in 6A tonight here on UTV 44. Ben Blackman and the Toros on the road taking on Jeff Kelly and the Saraland Spartans tonight in Saraland. And a little peek behind the curtain here. I thought this was really cool. So we always record this show on Wednesdays leading up to the game, and both coaches got together and said, we really want to take our kids trick-or-treating on Wednesday. And so we moved it up a night on Tuesday. I thought that was cool. You only get so many nights to take your youngsters trick-or-treating, right?
That so we are very thankful. We are very thankful. That's a big deal.
We got wives and we got children, you know, and family's supposed to be the most important thing to us as coaches. And you know, you want to be able to. I know he's got little ones. I got little ones. You want to be able to see them dress up.
Yeah, you only get so many Halloweens. I totally get. All right, so our last edition of Bren In, Bren Out as we get here to wrap things off. Dan Brennan, the McRib, is back at McDonald's.
Well, great. Thank you.
McRib, Bren In, Bren Out.
Bren Out.
I'm out of anything at McDonald's.
Yeah, okay. You know,
Endorsement gone.
Could anybody even say what that is made out of? I couldn't even. It is Halloween. TheCandyStore.com. Careful, not. Okay. Don't get confused here where we're going here. Came out with the 10 worst. It's a website for candy. The 10 worst Halloween candies. #1, circus peanuts. Circus peanuts, Dan Brennan.
Bren Out.
I'm out.
Out. Yeah, you know, they're those marshmallowy orange things. All right, Charlotte police this week had to respond to a suspicious package. It was determined to just be a Journey cassette. Journey, Dan
Journey, I'm in. Yeah.
I'm in.
Oh, I couldn't be more out on Journey. Not a.
I'll see you at the war.
Not a chance. A man was arrested on Halloween for dressing up as Nick Nolte's mugshot. So he was arrested on Halloween. So his mugshot was him dressed up as Nick Nolte's mugshot. Dan Brennan, could you pull off Nick Nolte's mugshot as a costume?
Brennan.
I'm out.
I'm out.
No,
I'm out.
I think you could do it.
I'm of the age.
I would love to. I would love to try it. Man sets new Guinness World Record for the number of walnuts cracked on his head in 1 minute.
Bren Out.
Cracked anything on your head, Dan Brennan?
Bren Out.
I'm out.
No, I got it.
I'm in.
There, yeah, I got to think there's a story somewhere you can do it.
Southern Miss. Southern Miss.
Brunel, hunting camp, it's all coming together. We can't wait. We thank y'all. We can't thank y'all so much. We love being up here with you. Kickoff coming up next. Saraland and Spanish Fort right here on UTV 44. Jim Cox and Dan Brennan. We're heading to the booth with no circus peanuts for the big one tonight.